We have a quorum.
Okay. This evening, Jaden Richardson, who is a sophomore at Pembroke Pines Charter High School, is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and I ask you to remain standing so that he can sing the national anthem. Jaden, whenever you're ready.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early lights, which so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars, who with perilous fights, all the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets reckless, a bomb bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say us that star-spangled banner yet wave. All the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Wow, beautiful. Well done. Thank you. Jaden Richardson, doing a great job. Thank you so very much. We have a number of presentations. However, let me just take a moment to make an announcement of great interest, I'm sure, to many Pembroke Pines residents regarding flood insurance. Today I was told, and Mr. Dodge and Mr. Kennedy, our city engineer, thank you very much, residents of Pembroke Pines will soon be getting some relief when it comes to the cost of their flood insurance. We have been working hard to assist with this problem for months. The city has just been notified, thanks to the efforts of city staff and other stakeholders. The city recently received a Class 5 rating from FEMA, National Flood Insurance Program Community Rating. This is an improvement from the city's previous Class 7 rating, and the new rating means that after October 1st, 2025, residents will automatically receive a 25% discount, up from the previous 15% discount on all qualifying NFIP flood insurance policies. Our city is only one of two in Broward County that have been designated with this higher discount. Thank you to our staff for their diligence on your behalf in pursuing the types of flood mitigation activities in our city that protect lives, reduce property damage, and help our residents get some monetary relief as a result. We wish to do even more if we can. We estimate that the potential savings for flood insurance policyholders in the city of Pembroke Pines due to the Class 7 improvement from 7 to 5 will be approximately $282,763 per year across the entire community of 4,332 policyholders. If you own flood insurance and you live in Pembroke Pines, call your flood insurance broker for details. Very good news, and congratulations, and thank you to the staff for doing that.
And Mr. Mayor, may I add a little bit to that for just a moment, please, sir? Thank you. Yes, I remember that a little over 2 years ago that staff brought before us an item that otherwise would have just gone unnoticed, but we at this dais recognized that there was an ability to take this to the next level, and we gave direction to the city manager to investigate the ability to move our CRS rating from a high level to a lower level, which means greater benefits to us in terms of our flood insurance. And I know that we're giving staff credit because they've done a very good job, but I also want to give this commission credit too for recognizing that we needed to take action in order to be able to ensure that our residents were getting the best flood insurance rates that they could possibly get, sir. Thank you.
Here, here. And let me say that we still have more to do with respect to flooding. It's still a major concern in the city, and we're eager to do the work. But this is certainly very, very good news.
And Mayor, what's the effective date for the policyholders? For those, some may have already purchased.
October 1st of,
October 1, 2025?
hold on, October 1st of 2025.
Good, good.
Okay?
Good.
All right. I have several proclamations today. Thank you, Gabe. So it is March, and I'm wearing my green shirt because we're going to be celebrating Irish American Heritage Month during this same month that St. Patrick's Day is obviously celebrated. This is a proclamation of the City of Pembroke Pines, Irish American Heritage Month. Whereas for generations, Irish Americans have enriched the United States with their deep-rooted traditions, unwavering resilience, and significant contributions to all aspects of American life. And whereas millions of Irish immigrants came to the United States seeking freedom and opportunity, overcoming hardship and adversity to build strong communities and shape the future of our nation. And whereas Irish Americans have played a vital role in the country's history, serving as leaders in government, business, education, science, the arts, the armed forces, and embodying a spirit of perseverance and dedication. And whereas the rich culture and of cultural heritage of the Irish people, including music, literature, dance, and folklore, continues to inspire and unite people of all backgrounds, fostering a deep appreciation for their lasting legacy. And whereas each March we celebrate Irish American Heritage Month, coinciding with St. Patrick's Day, to honor the profound influence of Irish Americans and their contributions to our communities and nation. Now, therefore, I, Angelo Castillo, Mayor of the City of Pembroke Pines, together with the City Commission, do hereby proclaim the month of March 2025 is Irish American Heritage Month in the City of Pembroke Pines, Florida, and encourage all residents to recognize and celebrate the enduring legacy of Irish Americans. Now, with us today are Pembroke Pines resident Kevin Tynan and William Cottle. Let's give them a round of applause. Because we know that the Irish enjoy applause, and this is that's your proclamation. We'll take a photo.
Thank you very much for the honor. For those of you that don't know about the Emerald Society of Fort Lauderdale, we just celebrated our 75th annual St. Patrick's Day breakfast this past Sunday, where we handed out $10,000 in scholarships to Broward County students for college. Again, we do this every year, and we will also be joining in the St. Patrick's Day parade this weekend in Fort Lauderdale. And again, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. You got the picture? You got the photo? Okay. Our next proclamation is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. Okay. And with us for that yes, okay, we're ready. Excuse me. So this is a proclamation of the City of Pembroke Pines, Florida, Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. Whereas colorectal cancer is the second leading cause of cancer-related deaths in the United States among men and women combined, yet it is highly preventable. And with regular screening and early detection, and whereas colorectal cancer is the leading cause of cancer death for men, and second leading cause of cancer death for women under the age of 50. And in 2024, there were approximately 152,000 new cases and 53,000 deaths from colorectal cancer, emphasizing the urgent need for increased awareness. Whereas the national goal established by the National Colorectal Cancer Roundtable is to strive to increase timely colorectal cancer screenings up to 80% in every community for all Americans eligible for screening. And whereas observance of Colorectal Cancer Month during the month of March would provide a special opportunity to increase awareness and offer education on the importance and early detection and screening of colorectal cancer. Now, therefore, I, Angelo Castillo, Mayor of the City of Pembroke Pines, do hereby proclaim March 2025 as Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month in the City of Pembroke Pines and encourage all citizens to take proactive steps in preventing and detecting colorectal cancer. Would you come forward, please? Let's take a photo. Sure, you will. Thank you very much.
Well, first of all, I would like to thank Mayor Castillo and all the commissioners for recognizing colorectal cancer, and March is the Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. So let me tell you my little story. I was diagnosed 7 years ago at age 40 with stage 4 colorectal cancer. As you know, it used to be an old man's disease. Unfortunately, the age is coming down, and a lot of young people are getting affected, sick, and unfortunately die. Usually the younger folks get diagnosed with the stage 3 and 4. That leads, it's harder to beat. It's only about 16% of people that live through a stage 4. So my daughter was only 2 and my son was 8 when I was diagnosed. First, I was misdiagnosed as they thought I had gallbladders because I had pain on my lower abdomen. But unfortunately, after screening, it came that it's colon cancer with tumors on my liver. So I had to go through chemotherapy. I couldn't get surgery first, but thankfully it worked that it reduced the tumors enough that I could get a surgery and get the tumors removed. And then, unfortunately, a year later, it came back. But went again through all the procedures, and I'm lucky enough to be here, and I would not want anybody else or their children or their families, neighbors, and anybody else to go through it. So that's why I'm here, trying to spread awareness. So anybody 45 years or older, please get screened. There's other options than not just colonoscopies, but colonoscopy is the golden rule because they will remove your polyps if you have them. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. And God bless you both. Thank you so very, very much. Okay. This next presentation is for Flood Awareness Week. This is March 3rd through March 9th, 2025. Whereas the City of Pembroke Pines has experienced severe weather in the past in the form of extreme rainfall or tropical system events resulting in flooding. And this flooding has caused damage and flood losses to homes, buildings in all areas, whether they are high-risk special flood hazard areas or low to moderate risk flood zones. And whereas the City of Pembroke Pines is a voluntary participant in the National Flood Insurance Program that provides residents with the opportunity to protect themselves against flood loss through the purchase of flood insurance at reduced insurance premium rates, as well as setting higher regulatory standards to reduce the flood risk and potential flood damage to their property. And whereas the reduction of loss of life and property damage can be achieved when appropriate flood preparedness, control, and mitigation measures are taken before a flood. And whereas public education and awareness of potential weather hazards and methods of protection are critical to health, safety, and welfare of residents, the Florida Flood Plan Managers Association have declared the week of March 3rd through 9th, 2025 as Flood Awareness Week to promote awareness and increase knowledge of flood risk, the availability of flood insurance, flood protection methods, and how to prepare for emergencies. Now, therefore, I, Angelo Castillo, Mayor of the City of Pembroke Pines, do hereby proclaim March 3rd through 9th, 2025 as Flood Awareness Week in the City of Pembroke Pines, Florida, and further encourage the residents to increase their knowledge of how to protect themselves and their property from flooding.
Thank you, Mayor. It's appropriate that we got this this evening, and because we had the news that our community rating system went from a 7 to a 5, which is really good. Like you said, this is we're the second city in the county with such a low rating. So, if anybody has any questions about flood insurance or what flows under in, they can call the engineering department, and we'll be glad to assist them with anything yet. 954-518-9040.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. City engineer keeping us high and dry, and that's a good thing. Okay. This is a proclamation of the City of Pembroke Pines, Florida for National Procurement Month and Procurement Professionals Day. Whereas public procurement plays a critical role in ensuring the quality, efficiency, and effectiveness of government operations by securing essential goods and services and promoting transparency, fairness, and accountability in the competitive bidding process. And whereas procurement professionals add value by developing strategic strategies, fostering supplier relationships, ensuring cost-effective practices, and upholding the highest ethical standards, while influencing economic conditions with purchasing power in the billions of dollars. And whereas the City of Pembroke Pines Procurement Department is committed to supporting all departments, including the city's charter schools, by adhering to the public procurement values and guiding principles of accountability, ethics, impartiality, professionalism, service, and transparency, as established by the Institute for Public Procurement. And whereas March is recognized as National Procurement Month, with March 12, 2025 designated as the Procurement Professionals Day by the National Procurement Institute to honor the contributions of procurement professionals and raise awareness of their essential role in local and national governance. Now I therefore, Angelo Castillo, by the authority vested in me as Mayor of Pembroke Pines, Florida, and on behalf of the City Commission, do hereby proclaim March 12, 2025 as Procurement Professionals Day and March 2025 as National Procurement Month in the City of Pembroke Pines, Florida, and encourage all residents, businesses, and community organizations to join us in recognizing the importance of procurement and expressing appreciation for the efforts of procurement professionals in our city. And Mark Gomes is our procurement director, and your staff is here to take a photo?
Yes.
I hope. Good. Good. Perfect. You got it?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, City Commission. Thank you, City Manager and Administration for supporting the Procurement Department and proclaiming this as Procurement Month in the City of Pembroke Pines. I appreciate all the assistance of all the departments as always. And as you know, we're here to support you. And we thank the citizens of Pembroke Pines for entrusting us with your taxpayer money to ensure that we have a transparent process and we are fiscally responsible for you. In addition, I'd like to just introduce some members of our team. We have Assistant Purchasing Manager Byron Granda. We have David Gamez, our Purchasing Specialist. Maria Ramirez, our purchasing and fleet coordinator, and Luke Singh, our fleet and surplus manager. In addition to thanking them for all the hard work they do, I'd also like to thank Christina Sorensen, one of our past procurement professionals, our previous department head, that's doing a great job in the city as our assistant city manager. In addition, Gabriel Fernandez, our previous assistant purchasing manager, who's now deputy city clerk. So thank you all for everything you've done, and happy to help you if you have any questions.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you. Okay, we now have the Natalie Belmonte Award for District 2. Commissioner Schwartz, will you join me, please?
Ms. Silvers, come join us, Ms. Silvers. So, Mayor, I'm really proud to announce our District 2 winner for the Natalie Belmonte Great Yards Award this month. Miss Charlotte Silvers lives in the Woodbridge community, and as you can see on the screen, her house is absolutely fabulous. So,
Wow, look at that. Beautiful.
Oh, that's my house.
yes.
Yes, it is. And a beautiful house it is. Well, it gives us great pleasure to present you with the Natalie Belmonte Great Yards Award for District 2 for this year, Charlotte. And here's the award, and it comes with a $50 gift certificate, card, I guess, for the Home Depot. Who are you going to give it to?
Thank you. Me.
You're going to give it to you. Well,
I will make good use of it.
let's take a photo. Come on in.
Yes.
I want to thank the code compliance people who are a big part of this program. Yeah, what's the secret? What's the secret to a beautiful yard?
The secret. I moved here to Pembroke Pines 3 years ago, and it's the best thing I could do. I just love it here. And I love the plants and flowers, and I'm retired now, and I love working in the yard and garden and keeping it looking beautiful.
That's beautiful.
Makes me.
So you love Pembroke Pines?
I love it. It was the best.
We do too.
I moved from Aventura. It couldn't be the best thing in the world to do. Yes, it's wonderful here.
Wonderful. Well, congratulations, congratulations.
Yep. Mayor, just a friendly reminder, we'll be here for District 3 next month.
District 3 next month. Wow, good. Okay. How are you? Good to see you, man. Here you go, kid. Thanks. Huh? Oh, I'm sorry. That wasn't on my list. Okay. We have a Phoenix Award.
Yes, sir.
Chief, take it away.
Marcel Rodriguez, good evening, and thank you. We're here tonight to present the Javon Alexander with the Fire Department's Phoenix Award and to publicly recognize him for his actions that resulted in saving a life. That life was none other than his own father. The Phoenix Award is the highest honor that our fire department can provide to a civilian whose actions contributed to such an extraordinary outcome. The impact of such an event is profound, not just for the individual, your father who survived, but for the entire family who's here with Javon today. This is why the Phoenix Award is one of my personal favorite awards to present. Could I have your family join us, Javon, please? It's a family affair. You too, Xavier. Mr. Alexander, his father is still in the hospital recovering. He could not make it, but he's alive and speaking to us. And last I heard, he's hanging in there, right? I also want to, all our firefighters are here as well, right, Travis? Okay, good. On January 9th, our firefighters arrived at Javon's home to find him performing CPR on his father. Our firefighters immediately took over following our cardiac arrest protocols, delivered a couple shocks, some additional treatments, and soon after, Mr. Alexander started talking, woke up, was no longer in cardiac arrest, and was speaking to our crew. There's no doubt in my mind, had it not been for Javon's quick thinking, the outcome would have been very different. Next, I want to invite Battalion Chief Kearney to share his observations from that day, observations that led to this well-deserved recognition.
So I guess to start off, I just want to say, one of the most challenging things to do is to have to perform any kind of medical care for your family member, especially emergency care. We all perform emergency care every day. We go out on calls. We're kind of used to running these calls, but even for us, doing something like this significant on your own family member can be very challenging. Sometimes people have a tendency to freeze up or, not be very helpful or panic a little bit. The entire time we dealt with Javon, he was very calm. He was doing excellent CPR, and that CPR that he did from the beginning is what gives us the chance to hopefully save a life, right? So, and in this case, it had a fantastic outcome, which is exactly what we want. It's the kind of thing we hope for on every single call. It's why we kind of take our CPR classes so seriously, and it was great to see it in action. As soon as we got there, he was doing CPR. We went in. Lieutenant Hernandez was there as well, obviously with the rest of our crew. We kind of took over from him, but that didn't stop him at all. He immediately started giving me as much information as he could. He remained calm throughout the entire process. I had a lot of questions for him, and a lot of times, family members are very distraught, and it's hard for them to get us the information we need so we can quickly treat the patient and get off scene. He was able to provide me all the information I needed. So from beginning to end of this call, he was a true professional, and I don't take that lightly. So we see a lot of family members and their different reactions, and I was very impressed. So I want to say thank you. This is the exact kind of outcome we always hope for. So it's great to see it, and by doing good CPR, you really did save his life. So thank you.
Lieutenant Hernandez was the officer of the crew that transported him. Would you like to say something, Lieutenant Hernandez?
Good evening, everybody. First, I just want to thank my crew. Without them, none of this could have been possible. I also want to thank the City of Pembroke Pines for their outstanding training and knowledge that they give us to be able to help the citizens of Pembroke Pines. And most importantly, the man up above for giving us this opportunity to, save lives and help others. So thank you.
And now, before we take a picture, Javon, if you can share with us what this experience has meant to you, and perhaps what would you tell someone that is thinking about taking a CPR class?
First, I want to say thank you for the opportunity, and thank you most importantly to Pembroke Pines Fire Rescue and Police Department for their timely response to my help, because if it wasn't for them, I may not be here with you. My dad may not be here with me today, so I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. This has been an eye-opening experience for me. Being with my dad and living with him and seeing his health decline over time, it's been something that encouraged me and made me, has encouraged me to push forward in nursing school so I can continue to save more lives. And I can't really ask much more as far as an experience. And this is a real life experience that I will take with me forever. I'm sorry, your second question?
What would you tell someone that's considering taking a CPR course?
Oh, well, from experience, that was the very first thing I did before I even enrolled in my first nursing school course. So I encourage everybody, please, please, please take a CPR course. I have my little cousins as young as 10, 12 that's learning CPR in school. So from my experience, I really think there's no excuse to not learn CPR. So go ahead and try to learn as much as you can. And you never know, one day you may save a life with the knowledge you learn. And that's all. Thank you.
What a beautiful story, and I just want to congratulate you. And I'm just so very, very proud of all of our men and women in uniform who keep us safe. And thank you so very, very much for your service. There's nothing we wouldn't do for you, and we know that there's nothing you wouldn't do for us. So thank you so very much.
Mayor, but in case I missed it, I just want to recognize our firefighters that responded that day. I looked at all the reports and all the metrics and all that. You did an outstanding job. It was fantastic. So thank you for your commitment to excellence and for representing the fire department with the utmost respect and honor. Thank you.
Here, here. Thank you so much. Yeah, let's get a photo. Let's get a photo.
Get in here, man.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Where are we looking here?
Everywhere.
That's center, and then we'll look it up.
That's perfect. Hold on. You good? All right. Thank you. Thanks again. Oops, sorry. Okay. Thank you.
All right, Mayor, if I may, at the request of Commissioner Rodriguez, I want to mention the fire department in city offers free CPR classes. We host them regularly every month at our facility at 9500 Pines Boulevard. You can go online and just search CPR and it'll come right up.
Chief, Mayor, if you don't mind, Chief.
Yep.
So I teach at Flanagan High School, and over the winter break, they were moving some equipment around, that sort of thing. So the classroom that I was in, they had to move us temporarily. And so I guess they were doing some type of medical, there was a CPR dummy in the room. So I said, okay, y'all, come here. And I spent a good half hour getting all of them, giving them the instruction that our own fire department provided me when we had the annual February Save a Life initiative. So I want to thank the fire department for continuing to do what they do, and again, get certified, learn something. You could save a life. You never know when your time is called.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Items at the request of the public. We have Ram Tawari.
Good evening, Mayor.
Good evening.
Vice Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, City Attorney, and City Clerk. I just, because I have been volunteering since I retired in 2012, and I have been volunteering with City of Pembroke Pines since then. I did committees, advisory boards, and other things. I also volunteer, that's my passion, and I could say I am not rich like you, but I am rich with time, which I can give to the community. I volunteer for the state, for the county, school board, City of Pembroke Pines. So I really feel happy that volunteering is something I like, but I feel that volunteers' appreciation is lacking. And this is my feeling, because when I do with the school board, I am there 2 committees, diversity and heritage, and human relations. Every year I get a certificate which is signed by my board member and the chairperson. At least that is something, it is, I remember a long time back, there used to be a dinner which was served by the commissioners at the senior center, and that was for the volunteers. I'm not asking for dinner, but I'm saying please do consider something for volunteers. I think they are an integral part. Any department, parks, here, there, everywhere they are there. So my submission to you is, please do consider about volunteer appreciation. Whichever way it could be done, that will be wonderful. I will remain and keep volunteering even if there is nothing, but I do want to say about other volunteers, and it will be a nice thing to do. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just want to tell you that After we get through some pressing business next Tuesday, we're going to be focusing on volunteering in a number of different ways, and the staff is getting ready to do a business plan regarding that theme, and we will definitely be including volunteer appreciation as part of that and recognition as part of that effort. It's something that we've been thinking about for a while now, and I want to thank you for bringing it forward again. It's a very, very important thing. When somebody gives you the most valuable thing any of us have, beyond money or anything else, is our time, because that's the one thing that can never be replaced. And the fact that you, sir, and so many other volunteers in Pembroke Pines give of their time to us and serve us so well is very much appreciated, and we're getting ready to demonstrate just how much. So thank you so very, very much.
Thank you.
Can I, sorry,
Yeah.
add just a little bit to that? Last meeting, or maybe the meeting before that, we asked staff to look into employee appreciation, and maybe this can be looped into that as well. So just a note for staff to consider that as part of the other request. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Okay. Commission audit report.
None, Mayor.
Appeals of the Board of Adjustment decisions.
None, Mayor.
Announcement of board appointments. Vice Mayor Good.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Tonight, I would like to appoint Mr. Frank Girardi to our Citizens Budget Advisory Board. As many of you know, I normally like to have my appointees in the audience so that they can be recognized for, as you said, Mr. Mayor, giving up some of their very valuable time. Mr. Girardi is not here in town. He had some pressing business, but I do understand that the Citizen Advisory Board is also pressing business as well. And so I didn't want to wait any longer in order to be able to make my appointment. This has been a very challenging appointment for me because I've asked several people, and believe it or not, several people find it to be, it's a tough task. But I can say that I found a very, very talented, a very competent, capable resident. Mr. Girardi has been with this city for over 30 years, or actually nearly 40 years. And he has taken on some very, very impressive roles here in Broward County. He at one time was the facilities director for the school board, managing their multi-million, billion-dollar bonds, which tells me that not only does he understand the number, but he understands how a budget applies to agencies and how they benefit both us as a city and residents as receivers of services. And I'm very, very excited to appoint Mr. Frank Girardi to this board, and I hope at some future time that I may be able to introduce him to you all in person. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, do you happen to know, now that we have this appointment, are all the commissioner appointments completed? Do you happen to know?
I think we have one more from the Vice Mayor.
Okay.
That's pending.
All right, and as soon as that is done, in fact, in advance of that, let's start reviewing all of the applications that have come in, because I'm eager to make my mayoral appointments. Okay.
Well, we do have a quorum for them now. I'd like to see them set as quickly as possible.
Let's sit down with the resumes now and get that going. Okay.
Yes,
Let's make some time, you and I, to do that.
Mayor,
Thank you very much.
Mayor, if it's appropriate, I would move that we set the Budget Committee. They have a quorum. I want to follow the ordinance. We have a quorum. They need to meet as soon as possible.
Thank you very much.
Are you going to recognize my motion?
Is there a motion?
That was my motion.
Can you wait till I make my appointments?
Sir, we've been waiting since December.
As I explained to you several times, the mayor makes appointments, not just directly, but also looks at the other resumes that are available. And I have been waiting for all of these appointments to be made so that I can make mine. I've explained it to you several times. So I would like for the mayor to be able to make the appointments, and then we can call the meeting, okay?
Mayor, had you raised that point in December when we agreed that, I'm sorry, when we did second reading, I believe it was October, that we would have our appointments by the end of December. I wish you had stated that on the record so that we'd have a little bit more
I've
guidance.
stated it since, so you should have been aware of it. So I'll make my appointments, I'll try to make them next week, next meeting if I can, and then we will go from there.
Can we at least set a date for those?
Let's do that after the appointments are made, okay? Thank you. The next item is the consent agenda, which consists of items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, 9. What is your pleasure?
I'd like to pull 7B.
7B for Commissioner Rodriguez. Okay, anyone else? Anyone from the audience? Yes, sir. You have an item to pull?
No, but I just wanted to say thank you.
You're welcome.
No, because on behalf of Indian community, I wanted to say thank you to the City Commission because you did agree to erect Mahatma Gandhi's statue in the park.
Yes.
And you also made the East Way and the community center.
Please come forward. Please come forward. To the mic.
That's actually a pull.
Ram Tiwari, resident of Pembroke Pines since 1988. I love the city. I belong to the Indian American community. And I wanted to say that being part of the advisory board of diversity and heritage, we really appreciate that City Commission has agreed that they will erect an statue of Mahatma Gandhi, which we respect very much because of his non-violent movement we got independence. Also, you had a road named Peace Way.
Mm-hmm.
That signifies non-violent, peaceful way of living. We do really appreciate that. So I just wanted to say thank you that you are doing so many good things for our community, and we always appreciate that. And in future, I think we will come to you if we have any requests.
Thank you very, very much. And it's a beautiful, it took a while, but the Dream Park Community Center is coming along. And now it has a name, and I think that's wonderful. Okay, is there a motion on the consent agenda other than the item pulled?
Motion to approve, Mr. Mayor.
Moved by the Vice
Second.
Mayor and seconded by Commissioner Rodriguez. Any discussion? Seeing none, any from the public? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The item is approved unanimously. Commissioner Rodriguez, you're recognized for item 7B.
So motion to approve the department recommendations for the following items listed on the contractor's data report. 7B is the Transportation Authority, Bus Transportation Services, Charter Schools, and Community Services Renewal.
Is there a second?
Second, Mr. Mayor.
The item's moved and seconded. Commissioner.
So I just wanted to speak on this item and get some conversation going regarding the Transportation Authority. I'm really thankful to our staff, including Mr. Bonilla and Mr. Gomes, who walked me through what exactly the Transportation Authority did, what the programs were, where the funding goes, all of those different steps, as I was the one who had a couple questions during the first round that we looked into this contract. I learned a lot about the program, including one of the key points for me was the flexibility that it gave us to work around the staffing for their buses. We get to use them in the summer for things like field trips, summer classes, even if it's not in the charter school, for summer camps, things like that, as well as added, I would say, bonuses from the staff that works as bus drivers, because they are really, they kind of go above and beyond in certain aspects in making sure that if an elderly person is using the bus to go get groceries, they help them bring the groceries into the bus, out of the bus. That kind of service sometimes isn't seen in other kinds of contractors. So those are all positive points that I saw within the program. And they also provided me, sorry, let me look at my notes. Provided me with a kind of background of the determination that was made around 2016, if I'm not mistaken, whether these kinds of services needed to be going out to bid. It was broken down whether it needed to be, if the services could be separated, if the buses would be used from us, leased from us, or if we could contract those services out. From that description, I believe the conclusion was made, and maybe you guys remember from the commission previously, that it deemed a better offer what we were currently doing, and bids were rejected at the moment. It has been, and this kind of goes on to my second point, it has been 10 years since that has been done, as well as roughly 7 years since we did an audit of the Transportation Authority. My suggestion for this item is that we extend it 1 to 2 years, in my perspective, a more reasonable time frame than the 5 years, in order to go back out and see if the evaluation that we did in 2016 has changed at all, or if anything comes back from the auditing that we were hoping to accomplish with our commission auditors. I wanted to get your perspective on that and possibly make a motion to, or however the procedure might be, to not extend it for 5 years, but extend it to something like 1 or 2 years.
Mr. Dodge, the commissioner is looking to extend, but for a 2-year period. Your thoughts on that?
My understanding, if I'm hearing you correctly, extend it for up to 2 years with an opportunity for our commission auditor to go back and review it? Is that?
For the commissioner auditor to look into it, and for staff as well to do something similar to what we did in 2016 in evaluating what the other operational methods are, just in case anything has changed. This industry has gone through a couple changes, and it could be something worth looking at. And if we're still getting the best deal at that time, great, we have that security, but it has been some time since that was looked at based on the reports that was given to me by staff.
Mayor, I don't have an issue with that.
Okay, I'll consider that a motion.
Yes.
Is there a second to?
I'll second it.
Commissioner Hernandez is seconding the motion. Does anyone wish to be heard on Commissioner's motion?
I'd like to.
Yes.
Thank
Commissioner
you.
Schwartz.
Thank you, Commissioner Rodriguez. Mr. Dodge, have we ever had any other vendor since 1999 other than this one?
We, as you know, you sat here, we had other vendors who submitted proposals.
That's not what I asked, sir.
What did you ask them, sir?
My question was, this vendor has been with us since 1999. Same vendor.
I'm not sure of the date, but that vendor's been with us for a long time, and each time we review it, we do the cost analysis. But if the Commissioner Rodriguez wants to have the commission auditor redo our numbers, certainly we can.
Mr. Dodge, I'm just asking you one question. I'm not asking you to go any further than that. I would ask my colleagues to consider directing the commission auditor to complete his work within 12 months if this gets approved tonight. So it's back on our desk 12 months from today or this month. I don't want it to go into year 2 if we have to make an adjustment.
I think that's reasonable, and that I don't know if we can vote on that, or just put that as a request because the auditor hasn't come in to give the final plan.
Right. We Commissioner Rodriguez, we can ask our commission auditor to do any projects, even if it's not on their original list. We have the flexibility. We have the authority.
And we did ask them. I believe last time they were here, but I don't know if we have to necessarily vote on that or just.
Well, we would need to take, and Mayor, tell me if it would be appropriate to have an additional motion, or if. Or the
I'm not hearing the commissioner say that she's accepting your motion as a friendly amendment. So it would have to be another motion.
I would accept it as a friendly amendment. I just want to make sure, and maybe this is something for the attorney, is that something that we can kind of just caveat as for the future, because from my understanding, the auditor was going to present a plan and we vote on that plan.
Mr. Mayor, if I may respond?
Please.
If the maker of the motion would accept a friendly amendment on the record that appears to be what Commissioner Rodriguez has offered up to the maker of the friendly amendment. The issue relates to the direction to be given to the commission auditor, and you have the prerogative as the mayor and commission to request your auditor to perform such services which are not incompatible with the charter provision. So you could make that request.
Okay, that makes sense.
Commissioner Hernandez, are you okay with that?
I'm okay with it. The question is 12 months from when?
From the approval, which would be tonight.
So
a year from now.
March
March of
5,
2026.
2026. As long as that's
To
in
have the audit
To have the
completed.
come back to us so that then we can have a good amount of time to make an evaluation based on what the audit brings.
No, I'm good with it. I just wanted to make sure
Yeah.
we're on the same page. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else on this?
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
I need to speak to this for a moment, please. So, yeah, so this has been a long-running issue for, I shouldn't say an issue. This has just been a long-running process for how we do transportation. And, you know, we every time it comes up, we continue to try to address it. And I have no doubt that it's probably a cost-effective solution for the city. But for me, a lot of times I have this concern about, you know, how it's being done, because sometimes process overrides cost when you're dealing with government funding. So I know that we had conversation about this last time when this came before us. And there was seemingly a lot of confusion, but it broke down to basically this commission, when it was brought to us, agreed to a 1-year contract for the non-school services, and then a 6-month extension for
The other way around.
It was the other way around. A 1-year contract for the school and a 6-month extension for the non-school transportation services, and that was with the intent that it was to go out to bid. And I'm certain that, you know, with all the things that the city has going on, we didn't get to make that opportunity. So here we are at the end of an extension, really, of the non-school services, why we're having to deal with this tonight, and to be introduced with a 5-year contract. That, again, still sort of is not what I'm interested in doing. I would not vote for that at all. And I bring this up because I want us to have some caution here. You know, we need to ensure that the process itself is consistent with what may be potentially audited here in the near term. And I can tell you from a personal experience, we hold the bag. We make this decision with this knowledge, we hold the responsibility of the consequences. And I'm just asking you all to just put that in your head for just a moment, because I cannot move forward continuing to make a decision on something that has, you know, has gone through a constant, it's a challenge. It's a constant challenge to be brought before us. It's a constant challenge to get our approval. And it's a constant challenge to get anybody else to participate in some of these bid processes. And when they do, they get nipped. And so I think it's very, very important for us to pay attention, read all the backup, not just this item, but in years past, and pay attention to what's going on. Because the decision that we make today, going forward, is going to be questioned, potentially. And I ask that we do the right thing. So I will support a 1-year contract in order to allow an auditor to step in and do it within, I would like to see it before 12 months. Because, again, you wait until 12 months, it'll be where we are today. We ain't got time to make any decisions because we can't transport people. So I think it's better to have it for 12 months, maybe 9 months, so that we have an opportunity to have conversation about how we proceed forward. Because again, as I said, I don't doubt that it's a cost-effective solution for us. It's just, again, pay attention to the process, because the process is what you pay for. So, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vice Mayor. I have to tell you, I'm not against doing an audit of any contract, and I love the idea of all of them being audited over a certain period of time. That's what an audit program does. But I'm not aware of any difficulty with this group. I'm just not. I think they do a great job. No, I know you didn't. I know you did. But the warnings sound ominous, and I don't want anyone in the public to misinterpret the Vice Mayor's good comments. This vendor has been, as far as I can tell, Mr. Dodge, exemplary. No.
Yes, Mayor, both for schools, for senior transportation, and for our senior center, we have not had any issues.
So, I mean, and there's also a clause, is there not, Mr. City Attorney, for termination for convenience?
There is, Mr. Mayor.
So if something came out of this audit that surprised us, in a way that was actionable, that's the bag we hold. And so I don't know that I have a problem with extending this contract. If we were to limit this to a year, we would force staff to immediately start creating an RFP. And I just don't see the need for it. The vendor is doing a great job. The terms are there. If we don't want the vendor to work with us anymore, the appropriate vote is no. We will give them a period of time. But this is, businesses go out and they make their business plans based on the terms in their contracts. And this particular vendor has been evaluated well, Mr. Gomes. So and the city manager isn't aware of any issues with them. I think it's great that we're auditing them, but I don't see the need for the reduction in the terms. So that's not something I can support. I think that I like the idea of the audit, and where a commissioner feels that we need to audit a contract, we should. But the term is the term is the term, and if we ever find that there's a reason to terminate a contract, we can do that. So,
Mayor, if I could,
go ahead
on round two here. Vice Mayor and I have been in lockstep on this for, I think, as long as he's been on the commission.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be respectful to my colleagues, Commissioner Rodriguez and Hernandez. I know they've read and done their homework. What the Vice Mayor is referring to is the last time we went out to bid, the current vendor didn't bid, and the vendor is still working with the city. It was a difficult decision for the commission. The Vice Mayor was a part of that decision. It's still troublesome in a lot of ways, that the way that process played out years ago. I am comfortable with Commissioner Rodriguez's motion for 2 years. I believe, from what I'm hearing from the Vice Mayor, he's asking for a 1 year, but I believe that 2 would be more appropriate, with the caveat of asking the commission auditor to deliver it before 12 months. Within 12 months is what my motion is. No later than March of 2026, if Commissioner Rodriguez would like to accept that new language as a friendly amendment. No later than 12 months, because quite frankly, this is a management agreement. We pay the costs of everything. We pay the buses, the parts, the fuel, the oil, everything in there. This is a management agreement that the that the company gets paid, and it's been that fee now for, I don't believe, same manager, the fee has not gone up substantially over the years. It's been relatively flat from what I recall over the years that the item has been in front of me. So the service has never been questioned, never been questioned. It was the process on why we're here tonight. I believe that the Vice Mayor is recalling some level of frustration that I share with him from years ago. But we are moving forward, and that's all my comments tonight.
So you making another friendly amendment?
I am modifying my language to the friendly amendment that I had offered, and if Commissioner Rodriguez
To
would
say
like to accept
within
that,
rather than
with no later than 12 months.
I have a question. When or how can we call for an RFP? Is it whenever we feel like it? Does it have to be within the 2 years for a situation such as this? We would have to call it.
Well, we can put it out now if we want.
In this case, since it's a very complicated process, we would need at least 6 months before the end of it. My other suggestion now, looking at where you said extend it to March of 2026, it would be very difficult to change a contract in the middle of a school year.
Right.
So if anything, it should be to at least June so you could have transition, because schedules are made for school bus riders, and you really just can't change it in the middle of the
So
school
then the
year.
suggestion would be for June 2026, and then we'll have the auditor report within that time, and consider based on the auditor report if we want to go back out for an RFP. Does that sound like
I think the auditor's report probably needs to be completed at least 6 months before you go out for an RFP.
Right.
Because the auditor would come back and say two things. He would recommend rebidding it, or he would say the process by which we did it is appropriate. The cost savings is significant. And we have gone out for bid before. We have not been successful with other vendors who really understand the process. The last one, I believe, bid, and then they said, well, I need like a 10 or 12% profit margin. There's no profit margin in this. It's actual cost. So whatever the cost of the oil or the parts are, that's what we reimburse. There's just a fee, management fee for managing it.
Commissioner Rodriguez, I will amend my language again and say the commission audit report delivered no later than.
It would have to be December of this year.
By the second meeting by the first meeting of December 2025. Commission
So that-
auditor must have the report in by the first meeting in December 2025.
So that we can have enough time if we do decide to
Sometimes,
evaluate the.
Sometimes we combine December, so I want to say it's the first
First meeting.
meeting.
Got it.
So we don't have an issue if there's no second.
So, to clarify, it's a 2-year term under the motion with a audit report due in the second meeting in December.
The first meeting.
Oh,
in
first
December.
meeting in December, okay. And that's acceptable to you, Commissioner?
Yes.
And
Well,
to
she
you?
made the motion.
And to
Yes.
you?
Yes, to me as well.
Okay, any further discussion on the motion?
I have another question to ask.
Yes.
Because what's not before us, see, this whole talk about RFP was done last time. And here we are talking about it again. Only difference is that we deferred it again further than we did last time.
Well, sir,
Because the intent was, and it's in the minutes, very clearly stated, the intention, the reason why we had done that was so that they could put together the RFP. Now, I don't know if the RFP would have done anything different, but I will say that the two RFPs that I'm familiar with, listen, I'm not disagreeing with the city manager. I'm certain it's a very challenging. We're a very large city. We have a lot of services we provide. Me personally, I'm not comfortable with the process. Again,
Of the RFP.
Of how we are getting to this contract. Again, I don't disagree that maybe they do great service. I don't disagree. I personally don't know that an audit is going to prove anything. To me, that's not my issue. My issue is purely on how the process has gone, and we don't see the contract before us tonight, which is important in the sense that the question that I have, Mr. Mayor, to the attorney is this in the preamble or whatever it is, the statements that are put in advance of the request of the item that the attorney does, is this considered to be in the best interest of the city, or is this being based on staff's recommendation from a procurement process?
May I respond, Mayor?
Yes.
It's a combination of both, actually, and you get to make the final decision, but the provisions you're referring to relates to the fact that you're making certain legislative findings. And we would do that in the...
So when you say together, you mean that there is an inclusion of language that this is in the best interest of the city? That's what we're making a decision on tonight.
That is a component of that. You can
Okay.
defer to your professional staff.
Okay, anything else? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Okay, motion passes 4-1, and thank you very much. First reading ordinances.
Thank you, Mayor. Item number 10 for the record is a motion to pass proposed ordinance number 2025-03 on first reading. And the document reads as follows. It is a proposed ordinance number 2025-03 is an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pembroke Pines, Florida, approving and authorizing the proper city officials to execute the Fourth Amendment to the agreement to enter into a sub-sublease agreement with H.G. Pines LLC, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, providing for an effective date. Item number 10, Mr. Mayor and Commissioner, on the floor for consideration for first reading. Number 10.
Who wants to move it?
Make a motion to move this item.
Okay, motion is made by Commissioner Rodriguez. Is there a second? I'll second the motion. Discussion.
Yes, Mayor.
Yes,
I want
Mr. Schwartz.
I want to disclose that I had a conversation with the potential buyer applicant representing the company, Elliott White. A couple nights ago, I was advised of some bill filing in Tallahassee, hence this triggering the extension, which I believe is consistent with the recommendation and thought process I had back in January. So we need to let this thing play itself out in Tallahassee. This is the last step.
Yes, Commissioner, indeed, the city manager, the city attorney, and I have been working on this matter, and there is the possibility of a bill being filed that would help us to resolve this matter and get to a successful closing. And the extension, because we don't know the timing up in Tallahassee, the extension will allow that option to play out. We're no worse off for the time, and it's sort of the last straw in the cup, but we're hopeful that it will work. Any further discussion on this item?
Me, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
I respectfully disagree. We've gone through this process. When last June, we sat up here, I advocated for it. I said a $90 million purchase. This is wonderful for the city. I've had extensive conversations with Mr. Gorin. Here we are, March, and we're talking about instead of 90 million, 70 million, or whatever else it could be because of the exemptions that they don't have.
Mr. Gorin, is that correct?
May I respond, Mayor?
Yes.
The answer is that if you take a look at the Hayden Glade request in the backup, the contract amount is $90 million. The request is to proceed based upon the $90 million contract. There might have been a request or discussion in the recent past about a lesser value, but that was not diminished. So
There were discussions.
There were discussions.
But that's not what's
not before you tonight.
But that's not what's before us
It's not
now.
before you this evening, Mayor.
But the point here is, Mayor, we started at 90 million.
Right.
We now need, now, I'm not a lobbyist, but I know plenty of lobbyists. You now need to go through the legislative process.
Right.
You have to hope that it passes both houses.
Yeah.
It's a tall order. Then you have to hope that the governor decides to sign this.
Okay.
That's it. If, to use a football term, there's a Hail Mary.
Yeah, it's the last straw.
So
It's the last
what-
straw in the cup. It's $90 million.
What I would say is I would feel much more comfortable voting for this if administration began the process immediately of a backup plan if by July 31 this wasn't done that we'd be ready to hit the street automatically to look for a new buyer.
I certainly have no objection to that.
But
Mr.
we'd
Dodge.
have to, what I mean by that is, we'd have to start now, even if you approve this. Because I don't want to be Debbie Downer, but the fact of the matter is, to get this through the legislature, I mean, if anyone heard the governor's State of the State address yesterday, these types of items were, well, yes, exactly, I'm sorry, Vice Mayor. These types of items were not mentioned. The governor's priorities are elsewhere.
Well, I heard the speaker talk about housing, and
The speaker's not the governor. The speaker
I understand.
is one legislature, and if we go with this, we delay it. I'm sorry to give you my back. We delay this until July 31, potentially not get anything done, and then we have to start over again.
Commissioner, I have no objection. I don't know that anyone here would have any objection to the administration doing a Plan B. I think that's a prudent thing to request.
But to be clear, and I'm sorry, I'll let you speak now, but to be clear, I mean, starting tonight.
Yeah, that's
not
fine.
waiting till July 31 and then saying, okay, it didn't go through.
I think that's prudent. Mr. Dodge, do you disagree? Or?
No, I don't. We can certainly begin working on that.
Mayor, we may know before our next meeting, because all it's going to take is one down the dumpster in any of the committees on either side, the House or Senate, and it never makes it to the governor's office.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you.
I don't think it is. I believe it would be our responsibility to direct the city manager to present a Plan B. My hope is that we are able to get the legislation done, the governor to sign it, because the bill benefits the entire state of Florida, not just Pembroke Pines. And it's an amendment to a bill that's already filed that has to do with affordable housing. So the way that it is currently structured in bill writing has the best opportunity, but anything could happen once it hits committee row.
No, I
on
agree
either
with you.
side.
I am agreeing with you.
So we may know come April 2nd.
But would you disagree with directing administration? Like, I hear you, and I agree with you. I know what you're saying is factual. But would you disagree to direct administration starting right now in the event that July 31st comes and goes, we don't get this passed, or the governor chooses not to sign it, and they have already started now, so on August 1st, we're ready to hit the street?
I mean, formally, the manager and I have been speaking about this item for many, many months. Now, formally tonight, we can direct the city manager to present to the commission Plan B.
Can I interrupt you? We have an item here, and that item is an item we want to go to the legislature with in the best possible light.
Of course.
And so, I think the comment has been made, and rather than load up the record with comments that a third party might misunderstand,
Exactly.
why don't we just vote on this
Right.
and move along? So we have a motion and a second with additional commentary that Mr. Dodge has acknowledged about any possible option. Is there any further comment?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. So
Yeah.
I actually did get an opportunity to see the legislative language that's being presented, as I'm certain everybody else has.
Yes.
Correct? Yeah. And, certainly it's rather lengthy, and, there's possibilities there.
Yeah.
That's, encouraging as well, too. I hear my colleague, Commissioner Hernandez, and I'm in complete agreement, and I understand you too, Mr. Mayor, in terms of what you say, how much we speak in terms of record, and under people maybe making a misunderstanding. But we are going to have to hear this at a second reading. This is not it. And the second reading is rather quick. It's March 19th. And Mr. Mayor, to the attorney, is it typical that ordinances are read immediately following, the meeting following, or is it typically like a 30-day lag in terms of first and second reading?
If I may respond, Mayor?
Yes.
This is not a land use or a platting or site plan issue that would require additional time for publication. This is a first and second reading. Chapter 166 would require the 10 days in between the first and second reading and appropriate publication. So you're within the time frame to do it, and that would not create a challenge legally in the context of the second and final.
And the second reading would be on March what?
19th.
19th. Okay. I'll be in Tallahassee on the 18th.
So, and I do understand that how things are going to move, it's going to be rather uncertain. So, but I do want to have a bit more of a comfort level in terms of what is the alternative strategy, and if it's not to be before, you know, a decision is made on the legislative piece of it, then at least I would expect that we would have the ability to communicate with the city manager,
yes, of course,
independently, and that and I agree that Commissioner Hernandez was, you know, indicating, you know, giving a direction to the city manager to come up with the alternative, enough for us to be aware of what are possibilities, and I think that should still be done, and maybe not necessarily having to be brought before this body unless it's necessary, but I'd like to have that conversation in advance of 19th of what is the strategy that would be followed. The second thing is that as we go along, you know, we're incurring cost on this. We are bearing seemingly the cost to make this happen, and we do have a you know, at least a number today that came in our Monday night paper. I would venture to say, too, that this number is what I would say is in arrears, meaning that the most current billing cycle hasn't been provided yet, and there's been intensified work that's been associated with this. And so by the time we get this done, how much more is it going to cost us to be able to get this through? Now, I understand, too, that if this deal doesn't happen, that the city does have access to a sizable amount, a down payment that becomes ours. It's a non-refundable down payment. I understand.
That's correct.
That, but there's still, I don't want to be leaning on that to cover the cost of something that we're doing here. So by the second reading, I will probably be also a little bit more focused on, you know, what's the cost recovery to us? Because today it's 140, and that's in a
$140,135.15.
And that's programs. So I think you know, being cautious of that too is very, very important as well. So be cognizant of that. I understand if the legislation, because it's not just for this city. This legislation is actually for everybody in the state of Florida.
Right.
You know, any private entity that fits that groove, you know, gets that benefit, which is great. Thank you, Pembroke Pines, for. You know,
and Vice Mayor, I understand that it is statewide, but usually bills do not go in the first session that they're presented. And, you know, I like Mr. White. I want to be very frank. He is an honorable gentleman. But in June of last year, when I voted on this in favor, I thought it was $90 million. No, I don't have to go to the state legislature. No, I don't have to get the governor of the state to sign a law to change it. Yes, it benefits everybody. I appreciate that. But here we are,
well,
first week of March. Well, this is a Fourth Amendment. We spent $140,135.15. And Sam, you're worth every penny. Don't misunderstand me. That's not a knock on the city attorney's office, but it's a lot of money, and we're still not here, and we're approving something which, hey, if you all want to go with it, I'll go with it, but through July 31.
I just want to make a point, then I don't know if it's redundant. Yes, we're expending money into getting this done. However, that would allow us to get $90 million from this agreement, rather than, if we are to go out to bid, some of the market price that I was understood for it to be is 70, 67, something like that. So while this is a rather large number in legal fees, it is small in comparison to $20 million difference that we could be getting. And in my opinion, it's an investment. We've already waited this time. Let's see what the governor says. If that, in the end of the day, isn't, fruitful, then yes, we attempted, but it's, in my perspective, a good enough bargain to make if it's gonna give us $20 million more, rather than what the regular market price would be with the taxes, or with the tax exemption not applicable to that land.
I agree with you. I just think this is a Hail Mary. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I eat my words on this commission.
Okay,
But
all
this
right.
is difficult.
Okay, Sam, what is the amount of the non-refundable deposit?
Let me respond, Mayor. The deposit is refundable if the buyers of the property essentially terminate the contract at the end of the inspection period. So right now, the money is not at risk. The money is hard in the context of a hard deposit that we're holding.
How much?
$3 million.
$3 million.
Okay, but the answer is that money's not at risk until you get past July 31st.
Okay.
If they don't pull the plug, then they're hard on that money.
I have to tell you that these points are well taken, but I myself don't feel at risk. Anything further on this item? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously, and the extension is.
Mr. Mayor, if you can, there'll be a second reading on the 19th of
Yes,
this month, and that will be on this ordinance.
Mr. Dodge, if you could just poll the commission and talk to them, because they have some questions, and I think that's appropriate. And hopefully, at second reading, we won't have the need to go into it this deeply. Thank you very, very much all for your comments.
Mayor, may I just quickly add one thing to the record, if you will? The letter of request that is attached to the backup is part of the public record, and that's
Yes.
the request from Hayden Glade, and if the legislature chooses to look at it, they can. We will provide you under separate cover the actual bill number, which was filed by another set of legislators to specifically amend this provision of Chapter 196, as was indicated by members of the commission this evening.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. Before we entertain, let's read Resolution 11 into the record right now.
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. Number 11 is a motion to approve proposed resolution number 2025-R-04, which is a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pembroke Pines, Florida, approving a plat note amendment. That's a delegation request to Parcel A of the Chapel Trail 2 plat for the approximate 2.27 acre property located at 184490 Johnson Street in the City of Pembroke Pines, authorizing the city manager or the city manager designee to take any action necessary to implement the intent of this resolution, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and finally providing for an effective date. Item number 11, Mayor and Commission, on the floor for your consideration.
Is there a motion?
Thank you, Mayor.
Moved by Commissioner
Second.
Schwartz and seconded by Commissioner Hernandez. Rabbi, would you please come forward? There's a button there, sir, that you can press that turns them on.
To speak.
Speak. There you go. Your name and title for the record, please. Thank you very, very much. Rabbi, we're honored to have you here with us. Can you tell us a little bit about what this item is about and why you all need it?
Okay, so the bedrock of the Jewish community is something called a mikveh. It's a Hebrew word. Mikveh is a ritual bath, which for a married woman, it's important to build a Jewish family. In fact, it says in the Jewish law, I've studied this before, that the first thing a Jewish community has to do is build a mikveh. Before they build a synagogue, and before they even write a Torah scroll, they have to build a mikveh, because they want the family to be raised in purity. So we have a synagogue. I've always wanted to break the rules. And what we don't have is a mikveh. And the plan is to invest, to build a small structure, small bath, two changing rooms, to invest many hundreds of thousands of dollars, make it beautiful. We're going to invest to bring in young families that they want to move here. build up Pembroke Pines with the
Thank you very much. Mr. Stam, can you come forward, please?
And now's your chance, Rabbi, get them.
Will this item get Rabbi his mikvah?
This item will allow us to transmit the resolution to the county, who can then approve the delegation request for Plat amendment. It's the first step in the process.
And it goes to the Broward County Planning Council, or it goes to where? It's just a plat, it's just a plat note amendment. Okay. So, but this is in furtherance, it's consistent with what his goals are.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Any questions on the rabbi's request?
No, just a comment. Thank you for everything you do in our city, especially out in Chapel Trail. Your community, you're the center of that community in Chapel Trail. You're right by where I live also, but it really is a joy to have you guys as neighbors, and I know Commissioner Rodriguez is districted right there. Now, wouldn't it be great if the county allowed us to get that crosswalk across 184th so that your folks could get there safely and not crossing in the middle of traffic?
but it's very important. It was a close call just this past Friday night.
Yeah.
There you go.
We have had some close calls in that area before.
Mayor, we worked together back in 12. Mayor Ortiz and I worked with Commissioner Gunsberger to get the traffic light at 76 in Sheridan. A crosswalk, I can't imagine a crosswalk would be any more painful than an actual traffic signal.
The problem has been,
Right. A crosswalk.
the problem has been that in order to put a crosswalk, you either have to have a signal or a stop sign, and the county doesn't want to do it. And but I think that we should send them a resolution pursuant to the agreement that we have with them, Sam.
Yes, sir.
Asking them to do it. And if somebody wants to make that motion today,
So moved.
we should just send them that resolution.
Yeah.
But let's take care of this resolution, and then we can dispense
to the
with
other.
that, because they obviously need the crosswalk. And if cars need to slow down because there is a faith community nearby, then that's what they need to do. And I honestly don't see what the issue is. And it's been very, very frustrating. So let's deal with the resolution first, which has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion on this resolution? Oh, seeing none. Any from the public? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Show that passes unanimously.
For the record, Mayor and Commission, the permit number is number 3895, which is required for the next step in the process. Thank
So
you, Mayor.
I believe the motion that Commissioner Schwartz wants to make is pursuant to the city's traffic engineering contract with the Broward County. We wish to send them a resolution. Is that correct, Commissioner?
If I may, Mr. Mayor, before we
Yes, sir.
go further, is that a county road or is that a state road?
City road.
It's
City road.
184th, right?
It's a city road, I believe.
So it's a city road.
Yeah, we just,
If
But they
it's a city
still-
road, why is it then we are,
Because even on city roads, we have to go
Yeah.
through the county in order to get these,
since 1974, we've been begging the county to do their job.
So I'm saying that this
Yeah.
past weekend, my father was 83 years old. I had to stop traffic for him. My mother hurt her ankle. 80
go on, he's 83? Really?
He worked as a trucker for 40-something years.
Well, whatever he's drinking, I want some.
When my mother hurt her ankle, she couldn't attend services because of 184. It's affecting, and not only for the faith-based communities, I see people crossing.
Yeah, it's a popular intersection because it looks like a natural way to go. Like, I mean, just that the whole area there. Yeah,
I know people who drive on Johnson Street.
Sure.
Come in several lanes.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
I also like to say, if that is clearly a city road, and it's not a state road, it's not a county road, and I understand that the county has traffic control device responsibility, but I can also say with certainty that if the city chose to put something in and did not ask the county to install it or maintain it, that the city would still be able to do that.
It's not that we're not able. It then opens the door to liability, and the county has the insurance program, and if we don't get it with the county, then the lawyers get involved, and it
Well,
becomes a whole issue.
I think maybe we should have then the city manager do a little bit of a investigation and review on that, because my experience tells me quite different, sir.
Okay, but let's at least, the resolution can do us no harm. Let's just go ahead.
I'll second him,
Okay.
Commissioner Schwartz.
All right, so we have a resolution to put a crosswalk benefiting the Habata Pembroke Pines. Any further discussion?
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
If this motion is adopted, that you're suggesting be adopted, to do what we call a draft and adopt resolution.
Yes, please.
As opposed to taking this back at the next meeting for discussion.
And I would be happy to sign it.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Show passes unanimously. Please draft.
I have a question, though, to Vice Mayor Good's point. Is that something that he, as an individual commissioner, could ask of the administration, or do we have to take action directing the city manager to investigate?
No. Any one of us can ask.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Carl Kennedy, what happened to, could you come forward, please? There was something that was gonna happen on 178th,
No, one.
so they could cross the street and go to the shul?
I had my inspectors go out and take pedestrian counts and forward them to the county for review. Because they had been out previously and had taken pedestrian count, they were so confused.
Okay.
Well,
Without objection, can we amend the resolution to include both the 178th? See, what happens is they walk up 178th, they live in the Silver Lake area in Commissioner Hernandez's district, and then they have to walk to shul. So I would love to see both of these done.
All right, let's do it. I do have a question.
Do you have any? I don't think we need to a second resolution, but why don't we just send them the resolution with both? Is there any objection to that?
No
objection. Okay.
I do have a question for the city engineer, though, Mayor.
Hold on. Did you catch that, Sam?
Just to be sure, I'm sorry.
So it's the 178th and also the 184th crosswalks. And Carl Kennedy will assist in the details of how to describe it. Commissioner Schwartz.
Yes, Mr. Kennedy?
They're both avenues. They're both avenues.
Mr. Kennedy?
They're avenues.
Mr. Kennedy. Commissioner Schwartz is asking a question.
Mr. Kennedy, when you do a pedestrian count, or when the county requires a pedestrian count, over what time period are they seeking the data?
So you did it Saturday.
Okay, and is that on like how many days within that month? Mr. Kennedy, how many days within that month is that done? How many days within that month is that done?
All right, well, let's see if.
1 day. So, Rabbi, I think what we need to do is we need to organize a get out and walk campaign, okay, so that we can support the city engineer's data to ensure that we can go and get this thing done.
Well, if we're
So
going to do,
we
if we're
can
going to
go
do
and
that,
invite
let's
1,000
include.
of our friends.
If we're going to do that, let's include the police, because I don't want anyone hit by a car. So let's.
I'm just saying, if we need a count, we can certainly put together a nice social event that we can get the whole community out there and just walk.
I'll be happy to walk with you.
Can I get clarification on 178th? I know exactly where the 184th crossing is.
I think it's on 12th. Is that correct? What's the cross street there? The one that goes to Coconuts, the Coconut Cove and the other one. Is that 4th?
Oh.
The place that most of them cross is across Johnson. Come out of 9th Street
Yeah, here.
Treasure Shores.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but what is that street? Is that 12th? No, it's 4th rather? Isn't that 4th?
It's 9th.
9th, okay, 9th. Okay. Right. There's just no crosswalk there. There's nowhere, you
No,
can't
but-
get the other,
Yes.
you can't get the other side of the street.
But what was this 178th conversation? I understood the 184th one.
So they gotta come out of the coconut coves and the coconut reefs, and they need to be able to get onto,
Oh,
and there's nowhere to cross the street.
okay.
And they have baby carriages, and they've got all kinds of things.
No,
and-
I trust you. I just didn't know exactly
yeah.
at what
Yeah,
point.
that's where it is.
That's fine.
Okay? Did we vote?
Yes.
All those in favor say aye.
Hi.
Any opposed?
And-
Passes unanimously.
And Mayor, for the record, the supplemental resolution, which is a draft and adopt, which would be considered approved this evening, is number 3896 for the public record, and we will draft it and have it appropriately available for signature.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Rabbi.
Mayor. Thank you,
All
Mayor.
my best to you and your good congregation. Okay, next.
Mr. Mayor,
We
if I may?
have regular agenda.
Yes, correct. The reports first, Mayor, before the number 12.
Reports to the league and the MPO.
None.
Vice Mayor, anything?
No meetings.
Okay. Reports to the city manager.
No items, Mayor.
Reports to the city attorney.
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. Number 12 is a motion to approve the settlement agreement with South Broward Hospital District doing business as Memorial Healthcare System, Pembroke 2 Owner LLC, Pembroke 145 Office LLC, and Baptist Health South Florida INC for litigation regarding ordinance number 2018. The items on the record for consideration, the backup and the settlement document, which has been reviewed by the City Attorney's Office, is before you as well in the backup and online for consideration by the Mayor and Commission this evening as a full and complete settlement of the matter with the South Broward Hospital District doing business as Memorial and other parties involved.
Is there a motion for discussion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion made by Commissioner Schwartz and seconded by Vice Mayor. I just want to thank all of you. There is nothing more pleasing in government than making peace. And we've had some strange history the last couple of years, but the truth of the matter is that for as long as Pembroke Pines and Memorial Hospital System have been around, we have been very, very good friends. And this settlement paves the way for us to return to the normalcy of our history together. And I can't think, there aren't too many organizations that are thought of with as much trust and esteem than the Memorial Hospital and the Memorial Healthcare System. And we're very proud to be a host to two of your hospitals. In fact, we consider Miramar ours, but you know,
We'll take it like Greenland.
it's really 2.5 hospitals, and we're very, very thankful for everything that you do. Anything else, City Attorney?
Not for the record, Mr. Mayor, if I can answer any
Does
questions
anybody
you
else?
may have.
Does anyone
yes.
want to speak on this?
Yes.
Commissioner Hernandez.
Okay. I did want to thank Mr. Gorin, who's caught me up to speed on everything, and Mike Cirillo as well, and the representatives of other parties involved. I would say, and yes, Mr. Mayor, I agree with you, making peace, but it's incredibly unfortunate that another governmental entity sued this city for what, from an outside perspective, seems anti-competitive from my perspective, and it costs the city of Pembroke Pines taxpayers almost $60,000 in legal fees. For what? To get here and settle. I really hope this episode is never repeated. And I look forward to, my understanding was this happened under a different leadership within Memorial,
Yes,
not
it
under
did.
the current one.
No.
I hear very good things. I've never met him, but I hear very good things about the new chief executive officer, Mr. Strum. Look forward to meeting with him. But this is an incredibly unfortunate settlement that we even have to engage in. I welcome Baptist, who has representatives here tonight, and thank you for your investment in our community. I did want to put those comments on the record. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And anyone else? Baptist and Memorial are very, very close to us, and we're very, very glad to see us come to closure on this. Anything further? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Yeah, Mayor, I have a quick update for all of you. You had asked when Raising Positive Children was going to happen. I'm pleased to announce April the 22nd at 6:30 will be the Raising Positive Children, and the topic will be managing burnout as a parent. It's going to be a phenomenal seminar, and I'm looking forward to having thousands in attendance.
Well, I think that's great. I'm kind of disappointed we hadn't had more over the year, but I'm glad that we're on our way now with it. Anything further on for tonight?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Under new business, if
Yes.
I may, for a moment. I didn't know whether I should have just brought this up while we were on the item, but I decided to wait. So this is going back to the contract database report.
Yes.
So one of the things, the city manager said something very, very key in there that
Which
struck
item?
me. It's not an item, it's just, but it
okay.
was item number 7.
Yes.
Which was the contract database report. And one of the things that he said in this was, this is a very complicated contract, and it's going to take time to get through things that we are asking. This is not the only complicated contract that we have in the city. We have quite a few complicated contracts in the city. Some of these contracts are also, they reference a sort of a long lead time that you have to make a decision on whether you're going to do the contract or not because of the complications that would be involved in terms of transitioning out if we decided to go out with an RFP. Quite regularly, we get these notice of contract renewals or awards right when they're going to expire, and that makes it extremely difficult for us to make any kind of decision because we are handcuffed. You vote no, you're going to kill service, and then you're going to be blamed for not having service. These contracts need to come before us well in advance so that we can at least have some dialogue ourselves to say, hey, it's going good, not to worry about it, or hey, it's not going good, because we get enough input from our constituents that tell us, we might want to consider taking this out to bid again and giving ourselves time to give staff direction in order to be able to put this out to bid so we don't put ourselves in a circumstance where these contracts are being introduced to us either the day of or the day after the contracts to expire. So I'd like for us to be able to give some direction to the city manager to have staff review their contracts and present them to us well enough in advance that we can make a decision on, are we going to continue on with this contract or are we going to ask for that contract to be put out to bid? And again, to take into consideration, like I say, some things that have lead time. Some of them say you have to tell us 8 months, 9 months in advance whether you're going to do it or not. And we get it 2 months before expiration. We already blew the opportunity to have any direction on this. So.
Mr. Dodge?
Staff does look at it in that manner, Vice Mayor. I don't know, unfortunately, if that's happened in the past, but any major contract that is going to be very complicated, we start very early in that process, and we'll make sure to keep you informed of it.
I'm just asking for it because I don't want to have to pull out the list.
It's a fair point.
Yeah, because some of us recognize that.
Vice Mayor, I believe it was my first term, in my first term,
Thank you.
we had directed the city manager to bring back contracts within 90 days of some triggers. Now, you just mentioned a caveat of the more complicated ones. I think it would be in our best interest to have the city manager identify what he believes are the complicated ones so that we don't have to have the conversation of, well, this is one of these complicated ones. I think we need to know what those are now so that we have our eye on the ball going forward. And the rest of the procurement process has been relatively routine, consistent. Staff is always bringing it forward. There's never that kind of time crunch or the handcuff feeling that sometimes happens. But I think we should ask the city manager to identify those contracts that are complicated and present it to us at the next meeting.
I remember when this item was created. This was, I don't remember the year, but I remember when this item was created. And as I recall, the purpose of this was that there was a sense that contracts were automatically being renewed. And maybe I got that wrong, but there was something about we need to know when a contract is being renewed and so forth. And then there was also, we need to know, because this item variously, when we get these agendas, changes from this one is just for your information, and then this one you have to vote on, but this one is, and so it's something of a mishmash of an item. We've seen agendas where it says this one doesn't have to be voted on, we're just including it on the agenda for your information. That's what memos are for. That's not what agendas are for. Agendas are for voting. So I don't know, Ms. Dodge, is all of these items, are these the items that we need to vote on, or is this sometimes informational items? I know you're laboring under the last direction that you were given before, but I don't feel the need to have the agenda. I myself don't, nor do I object to it, but I myself don't have the need to see items here unless we're voting on them. So,
Are you talking about the ones with the expiration?
No, the ones that won't be renewed, I believe, is what the
Well,
commissioner,
so the
what the mayor
ones
is
that
referring
aren't
to.
being renewed, there is a process. We're simply advising you.
Right.
The ones
The
that
public needs to know.
ones that we're recommending renewal are within the time frame that if you had a question on it, it could be pulled and we'd go back out for bid.
I don't mind continuing to have it the way it's been. It's worked, but I don't want anyone. I also don't want anyone confused as to how this came to be, because it is somewhat unusual. If you look at other governmental agendas, they don't really do it this way, but it's fine.
No, but I
It's been
think
working.
it gives a little bit of insight of maybe contracts that, if this is a rotating commission, things that we didn't know necessarily were in place were canceled
Right.
or whatever, or it may be an idea of services that may be feasible in the future, even if the contract is canceled.
And the public
Fair
at
enough.
large,
Leave it
really.
alone.
Yeah, the public at large, also knowing what vendors may not be servicing them anymore.
And you know what? And that's reason enough to have it. And so we'll just leave it alone there. Anything else? Seeing none, meeting's adjourned. Thank you so very